I just got to. There we go, and we are. Welcome all, episode 17 of Axanar Confidential. I am Alec Peters, your not so illustrious guest, I guess, guest host or permanent host, with today's special guest star, Brendon Goodyear. Brendon, welcome to Axanar Confidential. It's so good to have you.
Hi, thanks.
Now, you're out in California,
right? Yeah, Southern California.
Where in California? Where in Southern California are you?
Redlands.
Redlands. Okay, so that's an hour east of LA.
Yeah.
Although LA, if you're not in Southern California, you don't know that LA sprawls. It's not like where I grew up in New York, like where the city ends and then there's trees and then there's a town and then there's more trees and another town. No. LA just goes forever. It's like mega city number 17 or whatever, and it just goes and goes. And Redlands is all the way. Redlands is really nice, but you're like 2/3 of the way to Palm Springs, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with how did we meet?
We met back in the early days when you were first starting up the Axanar, getting it started, the first Kickstarter stuff, and I started posting fan art to the Axanar Facebook group.
There you go.
And you contacted me through there and said, "Hey, do these for me, and or if you do any more of these, send them to me, and I'll post them on the main page." So I started doing a bunch, post them, and you post them on the main page. That's how I got my start.
Gotcha. Okay. And since then, listen, folks, if you don't know Brendon Goodyear, Brendon is the guy doing these amazing. I call them the Ares TOS mashups. What do you call them, Brendon?
Yeah, I pretty much call them the same thing. Basically, a lot of it is just imagining what it would be like if the USS Ares was there instead of the Enterprise, and then I use NASA imagery and any imagery from any of the Star Trek canon I can get my hands on, and put the Ares in there.
And you've done some amazing ones. Now, here's the Doomsday Machine, which is spectacular. I love the Doomsday. Didn't you do an earlier version of this?
Yeah, I did an earlier version. I didn't have as good of a view of the Doomsday itself. So, and once I got some better renders of the Ares, I started doing more and more stuff, and that's why they're all really big now. Because I try to always do them in a larger format as possible. If people want to use them like desktop wallpaper and stuff. So.
Well, and they're amazing. They're amazing. Okay, so let me just get on to the channel here so I can see your questions and see what you're saying there. Let me move over a little bit here. Here's another great one. Just tell us about these. Okay, my favorite. Yesterday's Enterprise. Here it's yesterday's Ares. I love this one, and you redid this one too.
Yeah, I did that one just to give it better coloring, a little bit bigger, better images of the Klingon ships in the background.
And what do we have here?
Sorry, there's a bit of a delay.
Oh yeah, because that's right, because you're watching it live, whereas I've got the images as
yeah.
So this is the one with the two Ares class about to dive on top of 3D7s.
That's taken from, I can't remember the name of the TOS episode, but It Would Have Been Glorious.
Errand of Mercy.
Errand of Mercy, yeah.
Fantastic. All right, I like it. The next one is the one with the shuttlecraft, and it's like they're looking at a quasar. Or is that a pulsar? What is that?
That's taken from the Galileo 7 episode. That's why the shuttlecraft's got the number 7 on it.
Ah, all right. Gotcha. What is your inspiration for these? Tell everyone, how you're like, oh, and today I'm going to do the Aries doing what?
Really, it's just I'll be sitting there and just like driving along or whatever, and hey, I want to see the Aries in this TOS episode, or I want to see it against this kind of like stellar cartography. This one that's coming up, that's the Aries over the Aries landing site from The Martian.
Oh yeah, very cool, very cool. Yes, I remember when you told me that. And now we have the Aries going into the vortex, the time vortex, in First Contact.
From First Contact, yeah.
Dude, I don't even think I've seen this one yet. All right, so that's cool. Then we've got V'ger, Aries going into V'ger. Okay, dude, I've not seen this one either. Are you holding out on me? What's going on?
No, I think I've been doing these for so long. I think maybe just a lot of these it's been a while, but yeah, I've been doing these for a long time. So,
well, fantastic. By the way, tell us about you not only got your Nuka-Cola sign in the back, but tell us about your samurai sword. Is there anything special there?
Yeah, actually, I took Kenjutsu for 10 years, and I've used that sword to do traditional Tamishikeri, which is cutting the rice mat targets.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, that's cool because in Axanar, Tanaka, Garth's first officer, is Japanese, and they met when he was taking Garth was taking kendo class with Tanaka at the academy. So that's like the backstory there. It was an early scene that I actually wanted to film it at a dojo in LA. Them working out in the gym on the Aries. I thought it would be cool. Okay, now we've got Balance of Terror Aries. This is a great one. That's a great one. We need to make I don't know, big prints of these because they're so fantastic. This is over what? This is over the moon. We see the cities on the moon.
That's from Riker's line in First Contact when he says the moon looks different my century. So I just like, hey, let's put some cities on the moon and a couple of Axanar ships in there and see what it looks like.
Very cool. All right, very cool. Very cool. So all right, well, let me see. We're just gonna keep, folks. He upload. How many of these did you upload?
Let me check real quick.
Jim Westbrook says, Brendon, you do amazing images.
There's about 30 plus in there.
Okay, great. Let's see. There was a question here. Jafram says, question out, would Garth have respected Khan for his tactical and military planning abilities or just hated him for being in command during the Klingon War? Karn, you mean Karn. Oh, he absolutely respects him. There's no question about it. Absolutely. Oh, and Michael Cannell, $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much. We will keep up the great work. Michael, we are indebted to you. Thank you very much. Jim Westbrook says Mirasaki Quasar. Okay. And Captain Jesse says, in the Axanar War, was Starfleet so desperate for any shit that they can fly that Starfleet modified the United States airplanes? Like, no, that was from tomorrow. Tomorrow is yesterday, right? That's the black and white one. Troy Light, one of my good friends, Troy Light, he says yesterday's Enterprise is his screensaver. So
cool.
There you go. I guess we need to make these available as high-res images on the Axanar website so people can download them.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Joseph Caesar Padron, thank you. I am doing well, thank you. And Captain Peckin says, I am a huge Trek fan. Troy Light says, hey, how about a battle damage Aries? Maybe like the USS Reliant. Okay, well, Brendon takes submissions, I guess.
It's not in there, but I did do a version that was the Aries and one of the others, Axanar ships in the Nebula from Wrath of Khan.
Oh, okay, very cool, very cool.
So that one is there in there.
Very cool. And Necroglobule, troll untrue to you as well. Thank you. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Here's the Aries, and I think that's is that a Korolev class I don't even know myself. So yeah, very cool. That looks awesome. Okay. And Trey McElwain. Oh, and here's my favorite, the Ares escaping Starbase One in Star Trek 3. So I love this one. I use this all over Facebook. This is awesome.
Yeah, I just got you today the HD version of that. So
thank you.
Cleaner.
All right, fantastic. So what did you do for Trey McElwain and Axanar Comics?
I designed his the USS Apollo insignia for the Starfleet uniforms, and then I also designed a patch. So he had so just similar to all the other ship patches that Axanar has.
Gotcha.
And it was designed after the because it was for the USS Apollo. It was designed after the original NASA Apollo missions patches.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh yeah, and I can see that. Oh, by the way, and that's another one. I've got to down. I'm going to show after in a bit. I'm going to show everyone a couple trailers for movies that are relevant. Let me get here. So okay, now the Tomorrow Is Yesterday one is awesome. I love it. I mean, you made it black and white and all. That's the one that's showing up now. So very cool. Oh, let me get it here. That is one of my favorite too, because it's got an F-104 starfighter. Who doesn't love an F-104 starfighter? Those are the badass ass planes from the Cold War. I mean, those are awesome. All right, now we have one that looks like a display. It says Navigational Station 01. I know you're on a little bit of delay, but tell us about this one.
That's based on the NASA finding of a star system called TAPPIST, which has 7 planets in the habitable zone. So I was just throwing them in there, trying to make a navigation display and threw the areas in there.
And then another one of my favorite, where you have the Xenophon.
Yeah, the Xenophon with
doing the Picard maneuver.
Doing the Picard maneuver versus the Ares, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's all, and that's what I love about what you do is they're so inventive. You're looking at episodes and picking a really important scene out of another episode, and that's what I love. This one's gorgeous. It's looking at the I guess it's Saturn or a Saturn-like planet. Has it popped up for you yet?
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's similar to the 09 Enterprise coming out of the atmosphere.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Fair enough. Let me. Okay, and now we're back to the Doomsday Machine. So tell me, first of all, Brendon, what do you do for a living? And is it graphic arts? I mean, what do you do?
I'm a freelance graphic designer, so I do a lot of freelance work currently.
Okay. All right. Well, and how's business?
It's going okay. But I'm always in the mood for taking on new and stuff like that. I do a lot of stuff for tabletop game companies.
Oh, like what? We're all about tabletop games here.
Yeah. A company called All the Rack Entertainment Group I've done a bunch of stuff for recently.
You don't work for Games Workshop?
I wish.
Yes, you need to. Yeah. As a matter of fact, Simon Leeseman, one of our art directors, I don't know if we've talked together. He's a big fan as well. He's a big 40K fan. So and I know. Do you read any of the Horus Heresy books?
I read them up to a certain point, but I was kind of waiting for them to get to the. I wanted to see the Siege of Terra.
Well, it just started.
Yeah.
It just started, and the first book, The Solar War, came out. I have not read it yet. I download everything now. I just do everything on my iPad, right? I collect the hardcovers for my book collection, but as far as reading goes, it's so much easier to carry my iPad around with me, and do it that way. So you should, you absolutely should check out the new book, because I just finished Praetorian of Dorne, which is kind of like the first time the Alpha Legion is testing the defenses of Earth. And hey, listen, folks, if you're not 40K fans, if you're not Warhammer fans, you don't know what we're talking about. But it's a big epic future. It's called the Grimdark. It's basically in the year 40,000, and in the year 30,000, the Emperor of Mankind, who is this kind of superhuman being, immortal being, kind of unified Earth and then set out on into the stars, reconquering the galaxy for mankind. And just as about that was all, they were all finished and all, one of his favorite sons, he had 20 sons, basically, cloned, genetically engineered superhumans. Think Khan times 20. These are the Primarchs. One of them turns against him, and they each run a Space Marine Legion. Half the Space Marine Legions fight the other. It's this big civil war, and it ends on this big battle on Earth. And so that's a story, and it's an amazing story. And the reason I like the Horus Heresy books, and I love that, is it's not just so dark as the year 40,000. Like, basically, you do not want to live in the year 40,000. It's miserable. So, but you're a 40K player, yes?
Yes.
You've come and played with us in some of our big epic apocalypse games.
Yeah.
What armies do you play?
I play Necrons. I play Black Templars, Space Wolves.
I hate Space Wolves, but okay, I'm going to let that go.
Because you like Thousand Suns.
Yeah, that's right, because I love the Thousand Suns. Zara from the UK, our favorite Vulcan, has sent us a £4.99 pounds sterling super chat. So it's like $7.50. So thank you, Zara. May you live long and prosper. Zara is one of our favorite. Zara had a little run-in today with one of our, just call them detractors. That was interesting. So we had a good time. Zara's awesome. Zara, you are awesome. We love you, and we hope you're feeling well today. So thank you so much for it. Okay, I'm going to catch up. Let's catch up on some of the comments. Troy says 40K, the nemesis of Battletech. Why is it the nemesis of Battletech? People still play Battletech. Jim Westbrook says, Alec, I bet Starbucks is still around in the year 40,000. Hopefully, the Federal Coffee is around in the year 40,000. So my 150 generations removed can enjoy the benefits of it. But hope everyone's doing well. I assume that's Stogie, my producer, John Streckis, who is tweeting it or commenting as Axanar. So it's already Zara and I had a funny chat about it all, along with Krispy Kreme. Huh? So what, Brendon? Tell us favorite Star Trek show and why?
Favorite Star Trek show?
Mm-hmm.
I would have to go with Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
And it hit right when I was in my late teens, early 20s. And so I think it's just the tapestry of characters that they had in the show. It was nice to see branching out from just the usual Starfleet centric stuff. Though my favorite captain is Picard, but
what?
Deep Space Nine is probably my favorite show.
All right, I'm gonna let that one go.
Okay.
But good. And as to the people, the questions, yes, today I shaved the full beard. We went with the goatee, which of course now is gray. Last time I grew out my goatee was 20 years ago, and it was dark. This one, maybe it was 15 years ago. Anyway, so anyway, I'm just screwing around because I'm going to do a Doctor Strange cosplay with when Crystal does Captain Marvel at DragonCon this year. So I'm just kind of experimenting, see how it is, see what I have to do. I'm gonna have to dye it, I guess. But anyway, so to those of you that ask, yeah, it could be a good Mirror Garth thing too. We'll have to, although we haven't written any Mirror Garth stuff. Brendon, wife, kids?
Yeah, I've got two kids.
How old
son
are
and
they?
a daughter. 13 and 12.
Oh, okay. Wow. You did it the right way. Bam, bam, you're done. Boy, girl, you got it both covered. Star Trek fans?
Sort of. My daughter is a much bigger anime fan, and my son right now I'm having him read the Honor Harrington books.
Oh, great. Very good. Yeah. That was good. We have not yet published the David Weber panel. At Axanar, I was on a panel with David Weber, and I believe it was Chris Weave. And so that was really good because Weber's awesome. He's a really nice guy, and it's really interesting. I'm a big fan of those books too. Like, a bunch of my 40K gaming brethren are as well. So they're great books. It's great to see a female lead. I think he kind of lays it on thick with the whole British royalty thing, but and his ships are ugly as shit. And it's funny because some of the guys who you work in Bu9, the technical group, they're like, yeah, we know. Double-ended dildos, they say. I hate the ships. It's like, well, if, I always think that if they're going to make it into a movie, they're not going to make those things the way they are. You got to go like Mass Effect looking ships, right? Something really futuristic and cool and such. So there you go. So yes, it's suspenseful. It tells you what's going on, and everything looks amazing. I love the period. Listen, I'm a big fan of period films. 60s space, that is the greatest period to do a show in. So I don't know. What do you think, Brendon?
Oh, that was awesome, and I love what if alternate scenarios, alternate history stuff. So I'm so on board.
Yeah, so same. I'm a big fan of alternate history. Unless it's Harry Turtledove, because he's really fucking boring. But other than that, Harry Harrison did a series called Stars and Stripes. I don't know if you've ever read it. It is, it's about the Civil War. And the whole premise is that the British are supposed to be coming to the aid of the South and instead attack the South by mistake. And so the North and the South join forces and fight the British, and it's all about the technology, and it's really fascinating. You got all the characters like Erickson, who developed the monitor and the torpedo, and it's just, they're all characters, and it's really fascinating stuff. So it's a trilogy: Stars and Stripes, Forever, Stars and Stripes Triumphant. I think those are three. Harry Harrison, check it out. It's like the fastest read you'll ever. I mean, you'll read the book in a day or 2 days. It's just like you will not be able to put it down, and it moves like this. And if you're at all a fan of history, it is a absolutely great series to read. So, there's another series, and I'll get the name of it for our next show. That Dale Simpson recommended to me. About 60s space and what if they had weaponized space in the 60s, right? And so that's really interesting. So, and Catslave 56 says I love the Stars and Stripes series. Finally got all 3 books in hardback. Yeah, I've got all 3 books in hardback, mint condition, first editions that in my collection because I love it so much. That is a great series, Stars and Stripes. Let's see. I'm just going to scroll back. Oh, is Michael Weir here? Hey, Michael Weir. Michael Weir is here. How you doing? One of my faves, along with Michael S. Carter. How you guys doing? Let's see. One guy was the spitting image of Dennis Hopper. Was he? Okay. Joel Kinnaman also is great. As that astronaut, he was obviously the lead in Altered Carbon, which was a great show. If you haven't seen it, you should absolutely be watching. Go watch. It's on Netflix, I think it is. Did you see Altered Carbon, Brendon?
Yes, I saw it. It was fabulous, and they've started production on season 2.
Oh yes, love me some Altered Carbon. That is a great show. I just started watching. What's it called? Something Sex and Robots, which is on, I think it's on Netflix too. What was the name of that? Something Sex and Robots, and it's shorts. They're all animated, and It's fantastic. You got to watch it. Something Sex and Robots. I forget what it is, but go check it out. It's kind of like, Twilight Zone, Outer Limits style, but it's like short animated. They're fantastic. You'll get through that in an evening. So that's another great one you all should be watching. So okay, so now I got another trailer for you that is not space, but with all apologies to the women in the audience right now, it's like testosterone on set to 11. Okay, this is a movie that I didn't know was coming, and I am all about this trailer. Okay, Matt Damon, Christian Bale. And it is freaking, you know what I'm talking about. All right, yeah. Let me cue this up. Hold on one second, people. I'm going to cue this up. Let me just get this media source in here. And it was right next. Oh, God, this was so good. And here we go.
Look out there. Out there is the perfect lap. You see it?
I think so.
Most people can't.
Carroll Shelby.
Maybe.
Lee Iacocca, Ford Motor. Suppose Henry Ford II wanted to build the greatest race car the world's ever seen to win the 24 hours of Le Mans. What's it take?
Well, it takes something money can't buy.
Money can buy speed.
What in about speed? You need a pure racer behind the wheel of your car. That's Ken Miles.
I don't trust him an inch.
We heard he's difficult.
No, Ken's a puppy dog.
No. Whatever it is, Shell, no.
Trust me.
You're gonna build a car to beat Ferrari with a Ford.
Correct.
And how long did you tell them that you needed? 200, 300 years?
90 days.
This isn't the first time Ford Motors has gone to war. We know how to do more than push paper. Go ahead, Carol. Go to war.
Thank you, sir.
Do you think you can beat Ferrari?
I can try.
We're lighter, we're faster. When that don't work, we're nastier. We're gonna make history. You ready?
I was born ready, Mr. Shelby. Hit it.
Oh God, that is such a great trailer. I am so amped up for that movie. First of all, I grew up. That was my childhood. Was 60s racing. Was Ford's 24-hour Le Mans and the movie Le Mans, the movie Grand Prix, Indianapolis. I was all about Lotuses. Even as a little kid, I was all about the Lotus turbine that, in 67, 68 was just ripping things up. So, boy, and is there a sexier car ever than the GT40 in blue, navy blue with those white stripes? I mean, that is the sexiest car ever. I just, even when they redid it, what was that, 10, 15 years ago, when they came out with the Ford GT, because Ford no longer owns the Ford GT40 moniker. That was an amazingly sexy car. So,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I was kind of blown away by that trailer this morning. I wasn't expecting it. I clicked on it like, what is this? And then I was kind of awestruck by the star power and then seeing the fact that it's directed by the guy who did Logan, which is my favorite superhero movie.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. Okay. That's an interesting. It's a good. Good movie. I can't argue with that. It's a really good movie, and I love the way it. It's the old man Logan story, as you know. So, So I'm not going to argue with that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was. Where was I? I was I was just left Walmart and I was running to Taco Bell to get a burrito before I signed on here. And same thing. And it was like Ford versus Ferrari trailer. And so I was playing it in the car. And it was all I could do not to burn out when the light turned green. It was, I was like, this is awesome. So yeah, I'm told. I mean, look at this. Those two movies are movies I'm dying to see in the movie theater. You know, there's a lot of stuff that comes out. I'm like, yeah, all right, but those two, I'm like, wow, that's the goods. That's the goods. Oh, and we got another. What do we got here? Right sublet $9.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. You are a gentleman and a scholar. We really appreciate that. I'm going to go back and just check out some of these comments. Remember, listen, there's so many comments. I can't always get through them. So if you want to ask me a question, do it in the community section before the show. That'd be great. Alec, have you ever watched The World's Fastest Indian starring Anthony Hopkins? No, I have not. Is that like Indian motorcycle or something else?
Yeah, it's the Indian motorcycle.
It's like the history of Indian motorcycle?
I believe it's something along those lines. Yeah, the development of it.
You know, I was driving back from Chapel Hill, North Carolina last month. It's the day I went up to see Stogie, and I took Dreamy, our foster dog, up to Stogie, and Stogie's taking care of her now. On the way back, I drove through Chapel Hill, and at some point, I'm driving and I go, and there was an Indian store somewhere, I forget where, on one of the highways. I was like, so I pulled off the highway, and of course it was Sunday, so being in North Carolina, it was closed, so I didn't get to see it. But yeah, so they're legendary motorcycles. Troy Light says, I hate to reference Bill Cosby, but he did a skit one time about Carroll Shelby creating a car for him. And I remember that. I remember this. There was a skit. I don't remember what it was. Listen, Bill Cosby turned out to be a scumbag, but let's not deny his genius. He was a comedic genius. I grew up on Bill Cosby. I mean, there's some stuff he does that is just absolutely hysterical. And, to his credit, he did it all without cussing, which, God bless him. And then there's George Carlin, who I love, but he cusses a lot. Not that I got a problem with that. But I love George Carlin. Went to see him at Westbury Music Fair the same year we saw The King and I there. Some of you know my King and I story. But we laughed just nonstop. George Carlin was just amazing. Herb Blutman says Gumball Rally. Yes, that was a great movie. Who were the stars of Gumball Rally? Who were the two stars of the Gumball Rally? Who were the two that... give me names. Come on, folks. I know them, but I want to see if you know them. Yes, North Carolina is awesome, Asa. I love it. I went to Chapel Hill for law school, and it's a great one. A great state. No, Mike, no word or release on models yet. I am sitting in front of a green screen. I am not sitting in front of the bridge of the Aries. What else? I remember when this is Cat Slay 56. I remember when Chevy came out with the High Wing Chaparral, which until they banned the High Wing Sparrows was beating everything. I love the Chaparral. That was another series of cars that I loved as a kid. I mean, those were so awesome. It's so cool looking. So yeah, those were crazy. Those High Wings. Yeah, it was great. My favorite race car of all time is the Lotus Turbine, that wedge. I've got it upstairs. I actually still have my original Lotus Turbine, original Hot Wheels from the 60s. That was mine as a kid that I played with. I still have that, which is amazing that it survived. But one of the reasons I bought a Lotus. I love that car. 60s was the golden age of Le Mans racing. Yes, it was. I remember seeing Grand Prix in the movie theater. My parents took me to see it when I was a kid, and James Garner, right? Grand Prix was James Garner. Yeah, that was great, and that's where I first learned about Monaco, and I was like, I thought all racing was done in a city like that. Good night, Zara. Zara is off to bed. So we will say our goodnight and live long and prosper to Zara. You have good night. Herb Bluntman says Bill Cosby and the Smothers Brothers were my first comedy heroes. Yes, all good. I would add Jonathan Winters in there. I used to see him. Anyone on Laughing, of course, at the time. What model of Lotus did you have? I had a 2001 Lotus Esprit. I fell in love with that car in '76, right before The Spy Who Loved Me came out. I loved, the Series 1 Lotus Esprit. And then Spy Who Loved Me came out, and I was like, that's the car I'm getting. And I finally got one in 2004. And I had it for 10 years. I owned that car, and then I sold it. Sad. I sold it, but yeah. It was interesting. I sold it the day I had acting class with Richard. They picked it up and took it away. I was in LA and I wasn't driving it, and it was costing a lot of money. And so I sold it, and then they picked it up, and then like a half hour later, I went to acting class with Richard, and it was the beginning of 2014, I guess. I sold it because we needed money for Prelude before we raised $100,000. So I went to acting class, and everyone's like, Richard said, get up on stage and talk about what 2014 is going to be like. And everyone's getting up on stage and going, it's going to be great, and I'm going to get an acting gig, and I'm going to, go to auditions and this and that. And I went up and I was like, I'm so sad. I sold my car. And, it was a real downer. But it was true. I mean, it was like, and it was interesting because I sold my Lotus and I was sad, and I'm not a person that's tied to material things, right? So I was like kind of conflicted that I was so sad about selling my car, which I had for 10 years, and it was awesome, and it was my dream car and all, but it was getting a little old. And even now, I mean, I there's something about having a car that's really comfortable and really state of the art, And the 2001 Lotus Esprit is, it's a little bit of a Frankenstein car. People don't realize you got like a Peugeot gearbox, and it was a great car. And let me tell you, talk about sexy. I mean, I remember pulling up to a light in Newport Beach when I was living down there. I pulled up to a light, and the guy next to me looks at me and he goes, "That is sexier than any Ferrari." And I was like, thank you. And my best story about driving my Lotus Esprit was I was here in Atlanta. This is when I first had gotten it. Like it was 2005, 2006 I had gotten it. And I pull up next to a car, at a light next to a car full of high school kids, and they're blasting their music and this and that, and one of the kids, like this surfer dude kid in Atlanta, but yeah, leans out of the car and he looks at me and he goes, "Dude, you are so the man." And I was like, I laughed so hard. I thought that was so funny. So anyway, that's my thing about cars. So so today on Axanar Confidential, we talk about cars. So let's Brendon, what artwork pieces have you been working on here lately? Axanar related, not Axanar related? Question mark. This is from Trey McElwain, of your good friend.
Yeah. I've been doing a few things. I'm trying to seek more stuff with Next Generation. I want to figure out how to bring in the Ares and do some discovery scenes. I don't know. I've been kind of all over the place. I do have one I'm working on for the TNG episode Booby Trap.
Oh, okay.
And from there, I'm not quite sure. Whatever kind of hits me.
Alec Peters, are you planning to buy an old bus? I have no plans to buy an old bus. Oh yes, a couple things. Please, I'm assuming you are all subscribed to our channel. Please click the thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up on this episode. And please, if you're not a member of our Patreon campaign, if you can afford a few bucks a month, $2, $5, whatever, please join our Patreon campaign, Patreon/Aries Studios. So that would be awesome. How about the Botany Bay in the Aries? Michael Sean Carter says.
I could do that, yeah.
Yes, I think that would be appropriate. That would be awesome. Now everyone's talking about their cars. Yes, Little Mac, it is Patreon. There it is, patreon.com. That's Aries Studios. Trey, just above you, drop the link in there. Raymond Moore, hey, how are you? Everything is going well, thank you. Yeah, let's see. It's patreon.com/ I believe this is it. I believe that's it. Check, see if that works. See, there you go. Trey just put the link in there. So, thank you very much there. So yeah. Anything else, Brendon, before we sign off for the evening here?
No, not that I can think of. I mean, I've got some more stuff for Axanar Comics. I think there's another ship insignia he wants me to do, and then his name just skipped out of my brain. Jonathan Lane wants me to do ship insignia for one of his as well. Just waiting to hear back from him.
Okay. All cool. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. We greatly appreciate it. Awesome to have you as always. We will get Brendon's images up on axanarproductions.com website, and we'll let you all know about that. And then we will look forward to seeing. Brendon will be posting them in the fan group and in the Axanar fan group, and then we can all enjoy. Oh, I see. Yeah. In the new Star Trek 3 Ares scene, you changed the orientation of the Excelsior.
Yeah, I used a better image of the Excelsior. It's better Earth in the background, better moon.
And then this one, I got to start using this one, the Errand of Mercy one. That's really cool. I'm going to start using that one. Yeah, that is cool. What I'm going to try and do, excuse me. Let me see if I can create a link to the Google Drive. I'll create I'll upload this to my Google Drive, and it's on the Google Drive. I'll just create a new folder for it and create a link so anyone should be able to. I assume I should be able to do that. I'm not sure. I've never done that with Google Drive before, but we will try. So, all right. So, Brendon, thank you for coming out. Enjoy the spring weather there in LA before the summer hits, and
yeah.
We're doing the same thing here because it's going to hit. And in the meantime, everyone, thank you very much for joining us once again. This is Axanar Confidential number 17. And we will be back next Monday with Axanar Confidential number 18. We're going to try and do another Axanar watch party because I am going to get Prelude on this computer so we can watch it on a watch party. We'll try and do a watch party this coming weekend because I will be home this coming weekend, it seems, and we'll have a jolly good time doing that. So, all right, everyone, thank you very much. I know you guys continue in the chat room, and that's cool. I'll try and join you, Brendon. If you can maybe jump in the chat room here on the page with everyone once we sign off and chat a little, and everyone else. Until then, until I see you next week, this weekend, whenever we do the watch party. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to other people, and make sure if you are going to get a pet, you are going to get it from a rescue. Do not buy it from a store. All right. Thank you very much. Live long and prosper, everyone. Thank you, Brendon.
Thank you.